today I'm gonna take you to the birthplace of Texas. Hello, so today we're here in San Antonio, Texas, and behind me is the famous Alamo. It's a historical site here in Texas. It's open every day from 9 to 6 p.m. and we're gonna check out their museum. Even though it is free to the public, you still need a ticket to enter the Alamo, so you can get it here at the Welcome Center outside the garden. The Battle of the Alamo is famous because this is where 200 Texans asserted their independence against the Mexican General Santa Anna. So let's enter here to the left. You will see a beautiful large tree that dates back to the Alamo. And this here is the long barracks. When Santa Anna overwhelmed the 200 Texans, a lot of them hid here and fought to their last death. So you can enter here in the Long Barracks Museum, and there are significant paintings and depictions that will tell you life in the Alamo. The Alamo started as a Spanish mission in 1756 when Franciscan missionaries came in 1718. This is artwork of what the mission used to look like back in their day. This is one of the Franciscan missionaries that was assigned in the Alamo. In the next room, we will see depictions about the Battle of the Alamo, which occurred in 1836. The Battle of the Alamo signified the Texan independence because, unbeknownst to the 200 soldiers in other parts of Texas, they already signed a Declaration of Independence. A lot of the soldiers who fought against General Santa Anna in the Battle of the Alamo were actually lawyers, doctors, civilians who migrated from other parts of the United States and even in Europe, and they settled here in this area of Texas. If the name General Santa Anna sounds familiar, this is because it is a true historical figure who was also featured in the movie The Mask of Zorro, featuring Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. So I'm here inside the Alamo Museum tour, and behind me on my right shoulder is an artwork of Ben McCullough. Ben McCullough, and he is one of the first Texas Rangers. After the Battle of the Alamo, Texas became an independent nation for 9 years. After that, it became a part of the United States. You can see here depictions of Texas being a military area. This is a millstone where they used to grind wheat and grains. Wheat and grains are important parts of the Texan diet because they use it to make tortilla, which is a daily staple for them. Now let's go to the right. This is an example of the Spanish hospital back in the day. You're gonna see 2 beds, and it's really small. And there's a table there with medicine bottles. The Battle of the Alamo is also known as the Last Stand because when General Santa Anna barged into this outpost, he specifically said that he will show no mercy, and he executed all 200 soldiers and denied them a proper burial. However, he showed mercy to the women and the children of the original Alamo settlers. This beautiful tree is to commemorate those women and children and the descendants of the Alamo settlers who still reside here in San Antonio, Texas. Behind this huge, beautiful tree is a public viewing area that showcases a documentary about how the Texan Rebellion started. It all started because there was a lot of settlers moving into this area, and as they intermingled and intermarried with the Tejanos in that area, they started to gain a different identity from the rest of Mexico. David Crockett is a famous literary as well as historical figure in the United States, and it is here in the Battle of Alamo that he died bravely. He came there to help the soldiers in their rebellion against Santa Anna. After Santa Anna executed all 200 soldiers, he allowed one black slave to run free so he could tell the rest of the people about what happened in the Alamo. William Travis is one of the two leaders of this rebellion. During their last stand, he sent letters to all towns in Texas requesting for assistance. And one of the towns who responded is a town by the name of Gonzales, who sent 32 men to help them. This plaque is to commemorate those 32 men of Gonzales who helped the Alamo. Right next to the Alamo gift shop, you will see this huge artwork that has the timeline about the birthplace of Texan independence. And now we're gonna go into their gift shops. Wherever I go, I usually try to support their gift shops because it helps with the maintenance of the museum. Remember the Alamo are three famous words from General Sam Houston. Like I said, David Crockett came to the Alamo to help them with their noble cause. I'm going to show you a knife called the Bowie knife. This was inspired by one of the two leaders of the rebellion who was a famous knife fighter. His knife is called the Bowie knife. When William Travis sent letters to towns all over Texas, he signed his letter with victory or death. I'm done shopping, so let's go check out other places of the museum. There's something going on here. I think there's gonna be a reenactment and they're just getting ready. They're just setting up. It does get a little bit crowded. The museum opened at 9, but at 10 it starts to get really crowded. So come early if you want to enjoy looking around without the huge crowd. Apparently, they're going to show us a weapons demonstration used during the Battle of the Alamo.
So if you have sensitive hearing, please cover your ears. Okay, folks, so we are the living history staff here at the Alamo. We're going to demonstrate for you the different types of firearms you would have seen used in this siege and battle. Now, there were several types of weapons that were used here. They had rifles, muskets, shotguns, and the artillery. But we're focusing on the small arms, and we're going to begin with the more common weapon you see on the front here at this time, which is what Miss Smith is holding. This is a civilian hunting rifle, commonly known as a long rifle. And it's a hunting firearm, so again, you see a lot of these being used out here. In fact, this would be a type of firearm Colonel Crockett would have had with him. Men coming here from Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia that are coming to help in this war, and men living out here because, again, it's a hunting weapon. So, and it is a rifled firearm. So it has rifling in the bore. Well, what is rifling? Well, rifling is a series of cut grooves, there's typically 7, that were cut into the bore.
This is me holding a replica of that rifle used in the reenactment. So now we're gonna check out a new exhibit which opened March of last year. Phil Collins is a well known musician, but he is also an avid fan of David Crockett, which led to his huge collection of artifacts about the Alamo. He donated a lot of the artifacts here to this museum, and he even narrated the 1836 siege of the Alamo. This is a book about Phil Collins' collection about the Alamo and Davy Crockett. I was really surprised to learn that about him. I never knew he was into Davy Crockett and the Battle of Alamo. But this museum is filled with artifacts donated by him and other donors as well. This is a 9-pound cannon used during that era, and these are other artifacts from the Mexican side of that battle. So now you're gonna listen to Phil Collins narrate the Battle of Alamo.
Travis's command centre and headquarters. Here, Travis prepared and planned for the battle. The next house northward along the west wall was the southern Castaneda house. The northern room of the house was in ruins and was converted into a gun position which fired through an open window.
This is the closest image to David Crockett. And the Alamo Defender Portrait Project is about the descendants of the women and children who survived. And from that, they were able to get an idea of what the original soldiers look like. As I mentioned, a lot of the settlers in the Alamo came from different parts of the United States as well as different parts of Europe. These are artifacts about weaponry such as knives, swords, and pistols used during that time. This is a very well maintained collection, guys. I'm really impressed with this museum. This one is a uniform of a Mexican soldier during that era. This is a hairbrush used by David Crockett. This is a book signed by the man himself. And to the right, to your right, you will have a locket that has his hair stored in it. We are now in the second floor of the museum. And what I love about this museum is, as a history geek myself, you want to savor this moment. And so you need peace and quiet, and you need really good air conditioning. So this museum allows people like me to enjoy this experience. So now I'm going to show you different flags of Texas. The history of Texas is interwoven with the history of Mexico, and rightly so. And I'm saying this so that Filipino immigrants who come to this part of the country will have a little bit of knowledge about how Texas came into being. This is one of the older flags used during the rebellion, but I think they did not like this design. We're gonna see other flags as well. So now we're gonna enter into their church sanctuary. You need a ticket to enter, even though it's free. The walls in this sanctuary are fragile. They take very good care of it. They even measure the moisture in the walls, in the air. So just be very careful and don't just reach out and touch anything. We have to respect their history. It is a little bit humid today, but I enjoyed walking around the museum. I don't really know what this flag mean or symbolize, but I was just waiting in line to enter other parts of the church. These are the heroes of the Alamo. They listed all their names. This is located at the end of the church. I'm still waiting in line, you guys. I told you this place gets packed. The Alamo is family friendly. You can bring in your strollers, your kids. You can bring your dog, but you can't bring the dog inside the church. So finally I was able to get in, and they're going to show you this film, a short film about what happened inside the Alamo before, during, and after the famous battle. They do a lot of restoration, research, and conservation in this area. So I am really impressed by their dedication to the history. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.